Pro boxing fans, we are here in Belfast. It is fight week. We're a day before the fights. Your guy Ishamel Davis is fighting. But first of all, Sonny, how are you? How's life?
Yeah, good. A little bit busy now. The boxing circus has started again. Yeah, getting through the days.
How's small talk going? Your little show with Charlie. How's that? That was quite a cool format yesterday, actually. On the press conference and you guys. Oh, how's that going?
Yeah. We did it on one show at the end of last summer.
Okay.
Well, just last season, I guess. And yeah, I kind of like how it sort of breaks down. A couple of undercard fighters on with us that haven't really got an opponent to talk about. The face-off with Darren Barker, and then the chief and the main on the stage with Eddie. I think a bit more dynamic, keeps it a bit more interesting.
Because then press conferences can get a bit long and a bit
yeah,
long,
I think the format of like everyone sort of sat on the stages and that, it only works on certain fights, and I think this is one more that will have more legs, I think.
Cool. Let's talk about Ish and Kevin, who sold the fight fantastically yesterday. Your name was...
It was like two little schoolgirls, weren't they?
They were. But listen, I'm not going to say that to their face. You know what I mean? But your name got dragged into it, which is part of the game, I suppose. If you're going to be...
Yeah, but what I didn't like is he kept saying friend. No, I'm Ish's manager. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm not just his friend. I'm his manager.
So there's a level of authority
on
there
that
as well, yeah. What do you make of it? Because it's probably the easiest fight to sell right now because they don't like each other, it seems.
Yeah, but I think they've liked each other in previous, but obviously, when things get said, you don't like it, ego gets involved, the response, and then it sort of builds from there. I love a fight with some needle in it, and I'm always the first to be cool and make peace after, because we don't hate each other, we're just getting in the ring and having a fight with each other. Obviously, not me personally this time, but that's all it is really. But yeah, a bit of animosity, a bit of needle, not fake though, just genuine, like responding to each other, and yeah, it makes for more of an exciting spectacle. It means the fans heading to the venue and seeing the fight and watching at home with just a little bit more needle, and I think it's good for the sport. Eddie loved it. You can see the smile on his face, and it's kind of what boxing needs really. It's like, it's not about being fake. It's just about saying your piece, and obviously it's not always done in the most respectful tone, but they're days away, they're in the middle of making weight, and they're days away from getting in the ring and trying to punch lumps in each other, so it only makes sense that they don't like each other right now.
When you took over Ish's career and became his manager, did you envisage it to go the way it's done? Because you know what?
Do you know what's mad? I actually forgot this until I've been processing. Ish only got in with Matchroom because when Kevin was turning down the fight with Troy originally, it got offered to Ish. Ish said yes straight away to fight Troy. Then 2 days of me hounding Tom Dallas, where we at, what we at, Kevin had now taken the fight. But obviously, we leveraged that conversation to get him an opportunity on the card, the Newcastle card that he was offering him to fight Troy on. And he took that fight, and then he got offered Troy again. He took that fight, beat him, and then he's taken all the fights that have been offered to him. He's not turned no to no one. If anything, everyone else, I could sit here and list the name of 6 fighters that was sort of petitioned for Ish, all British fighters, and they all turned down to fight him, every single one of them. And Kevin was one of those fighters before. But for Kevin to get the opportunity coming back off the small halls when he got dropped by Matchroom, because he weren't taking no fights and they weren't interested no more, tried going Sky, they weren't interested, come back, fought Troy, expected the arms to be wide open, like, yeah, this is what we're doing next. There was nothing there for him. They didn't want to work with him no more. That's the reality. And yeah, he got off him before, he didn't take it, but when Ish got injured for the Ryan Kelly fight, and we weren't about to send Ish into another fight 60%, probably even less than that, of an injury, so we pulled him out with no regrets. And Kevin got that last minute stepping fight against Ryan Kelly. I went life or death with him, but from that contract that he signed to get that fight, he was locked in with a purse, with a fight of whoever Matchroom wanted, and they told him it's going to be Ish. And they tried getting out of it. They tried, I've got to be first on the poster. They tried, no, I'm only fighting 10 rounds. I'm walking second. And they've got none of that. Absolutely none of it, because he's got no leverage.
Does it show, though, in 2025, or since the last year and a half or 2 years, that if you're ready, there's potentially big fights? Like, look at Josh Padley, for example.
Just take the fights.
Yeah?
Take the fights. If you lose against a good fighter, you dust yourself off. It's only what it does to your mind and your spirit that could be altered potentially, but Ish isn't that. that way inclined. He took 2 fights where he couldn't really lose because he took them at last minute notice, fights that other people wouldn't have jumped at the chance to get. Ish took them, he weren't crying and bitching and needing more money or I need this, I need that. Nah, just when's the fight? Yeah, I'm on the next flight over. And yeah, Ish is one of those old school generation type of fighters. He'll get there when he needs to get there, and he'll keep applying himself until he does. He'll give himself every opportunity to get there. I remember he looked at me and he said, "Sonny, what do I look like turning down these opportunities to fight in Riyadh season on the biggest card of the year? Who am I, Ishamel Davis, to turn that down?" Don't matter who's in front of him, that's his mindset, and he hasn't blinked about any opponent.
It's a proper throwback mentality, though, to be like that, right?
And it's what we put on, because everyone wants it perfect. Everyone wants this, but sometimes you lose the battle, but you win the war. Now, when Ishamel Davis gets put on a card, people genuinely around world boxing know who he is, because twice he disrupted the fight week by taking hard fights at short notice, a weight above, and then against pretty much the top level of world boxing in Sergey Bokacek. It's 7-8 days notice. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes you don't win the battle, but you win the war, and I think that's what Ish is proving. Because really, we're prize fighters. We're trying to, chase greatness and legacy, but you'll find out how good you are in the ring. And, everyone loves an underdog story. Everyone loves seeing someone that didn't make it then go and make it, and the resilience that shows, because it's relatable. And yeah, Ish is just a pleasure to manage. Probably too easy to manage at some point.
I was going to ask you that. But okay, let's talk about probably the biggest fight this weekend, one of the biggest fights this year, happening in Las Vegas, man, Canelo Crawford. And I want your thoughts on it. I want you to break it down for me. A lot of people, the narrative is, Canelo's more comfortable at the weight. That's his weight. He shouldn't be losing to somebody who's a lot smaller than him. The other side of the argument is ring IQ, timing might be great for Crawford to be fighting Canelo. Where you in regards to this argument of who wins and how it goes?
I'm not 100% sure, really. I feel like I want Crawford to win. I want Crawford to win. I'm a fan of his. I think he's done it the hard way. He's travelled in backyards to win world titles in multiple different weight divisions. He's never probably got the accolades and the financial reward that his talent and his ability and his performances have deserved. And okay, it's probably kind of a bit that he's got to do it against someone who's been operating at weights and weights and weights above that he's ever really been at to do it, but he's willing to. That mindset of it's still one person in the ring, and if anyone can overcome all those weight disadvantages and etc., it'll be someone like Crawford, the elite of the elite. And it'll be interesting to see how he carries the weight. It'll be interesting to see if it changes with his power, his speed, his output, but we'll learn about that on the night. Obviously there's rumours that he's had injuries and that, but there's never a fighter that hasn't got injuries. I don't remember the last time I went into a fight without at least a niggle, let alone a real serious kind of ailment to my body. Really is. It's just what happens if you keep putting a Spartan soldier back in war. They're going to come back with a few scars and bruises, and when the next fight comes, you look at the clock, you look at the calendar, yeah, I'm ready to go. And even if something flares up, you think once my adrenaline kicks in and I get in there, I'm going to be all right.
Obviously in boxing, timing is everything as well. Do you feel like timing is great for him to be fighting Canelo? A lot of people are saying maybe, I spoke to Eddie yesterday as well, he's saying, look, that Canelo's probably, there is a bit of an old man to this Canelo possibly. Do you feel like you are seeing that and it is the right time to catch Canelo?
We've definitely seen a change, probably less explosiveness, probably less willingness to really set a higher pace, probably more monotonous, probably understands that as long as he's not really been bashed up in a round, at least 1, 2 or 3 of the judges are going to give him the round anyway. So very, very patient, very, very methodical, monotonous with the way he approaches it now at this age. Maybe that's size, maybe that's age, maybe that's just where his spirit's at and what he understands and believes he can do in a ring. But obviously Canelo is one of the best we've had, you know what I mean? So it's one of those fights where you'd probably have to favour Canelo, I think, with more advantages, but skill-wise and ability-wise, it's very hard to pick against Crawford. But the size is probably going to be a big redeeming factor, and it's when both are punching and both are landing, whose punches are naturally doing a lot more, and it's going to make the other fighter have to fight maybe a certain way. And I think we've seen Canelo against the biggest punchers in divisions taking clean shots and taking them well. Obviously, we're always discussion of what version it is, how old is he, what has he got left, but physically, always been very impressive. Very, very impressive.
Let me ask you though, Canelo this week actually said something interesting. He goes like Crawford's better fighter than Mayweather. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like he is?
I think he's more all-rounded in some ways, but Mayweather was so good at certain things that made him impossible to beat. He really stuck to his niche of style, where Crawford kind of tries to fight the more honest, I guess, exciting, traditional way, being there, just moving out the way, landing the shot, where Mayweather would have you dancing around him and chasing him and falling short and falling in and countering the life out of you, and knew and understood 10-9 rounds better than anyone else. You only have to win 7-10-9 rounds clear, and you've won the fight as long as you don't get put down. And obviously he never really got put down. I know there's a few question marks, but for all intents and purposes never got put down, and he was the best, one of the best to ever do it. It's very hard to go a whole career undefeated.
Cool. It's still sort of 50-50 at this point. I know it's one day away from the big fight, but who are you leaning more towards? I know you said you want Crawford to win. When we're quite close to the fight now, how are you seeing it?
Do you know what? Because of all the things I just mentioned, you'd have to favour Canelo, but I want Crawford, so I'm looking for the ways that he can do it, and I want it. I want it to go in Crawford's favour. So if anyone can do it, it'll be someone like Crawford, someone that's that good, and he is that good, and he's always been that good. But will he do it? I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I just don't get as excited about fights as much as I should anymore. But like, I don't over-analyze it too much.
Okay.
I just sort of, they're fighting. I can't wait to see it. You know what I mean?